One second. Hey everyone, Genome here, coming to the next episode of The Coppermine, series where I kind of take a look back at some of the comics that I really loved as a youth, back in the 80s and early 90s, and kind of dissect them a little bit and give people kind of an idea of maybe something they should be reading. I don't know, just for fun. None of these are usually super valuable books. I don't have too many of those left anymore. And basically just things that I think have a really good story, or at least a premise that I think should be dissected a little bit. So for this one, I'm going back to a somewhat famous series back in the late 70s, early 80s, none other than Conan the Barbarian. And I went ahead and selected issue number 170. But this book had it all. I mean, this story in particular is one of the great examples of how Conan was perfectly suited to the comic book medium. Now, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I have read basically, I think, every bit of Conan that was ever actually written by Robert Howard, and most of it, I think, was written posthumously by like L. Sprague de Camp and other writers. So I'm a voracious Conan reader of old, and his transition to comics was a fairly natural one. And he just worked in the comics. His stories tended to be short, sweet, and quick, and it makes it perfect for like a monthly series. Just a one and done. A lot of one and dones in this. I mean, there's a little bit of carryover even in this issue, but they're referenced in the book several times throughout. So you don't need to have read any of the other ones to understand what's going on right away. This is a classic tale of swords and sorcery. I mean, in this one alone, once again, Conan number 170. You have a wizard in there. He starts right off with a bang as a wizard. You got shape-shifting demons. You have his one-armed friend, Redbeard, and/or Fafnir, however he wants to call him. Usually calls him Redbeard. You see friendship. You see betrayal. You see some of his grit and determination. You also see his Conan sullen side in this. They don't usually pretty him up too much. He's not quite as terse and stern as he is in the books, but he's pretty close. Back then they didn't have to worry about offending anyone's sensibilities, so they just wrote him how they wanted to write him, and he was violent, broody, and he just was very atypical of the comic books at that time. So just a quick synopsis of this story. He releases a wizard from ancient entombment. This is actually a good wizard for a change. The wizard, and he's also he had gotten a sword in a previous issue a little while ago, and it happened to be cursed. So he winds up getting a death curse. So anything he touches basically will die. So the only way to free this curse is to kill the demon who gave it to him. Well, the demon's a super powerful demonic being who has his own lair inside of a mountain. So basically they go on a quest to kill this thing. Conan doesn't want to. Conan has always shied away from supernatural menaces when he could, but in this case he has no choice. So, along the way they run into good old Redbeard, and they come to find out he has been rendered not immortal, but he's going to live for 1,000 years because of the contents of a dragon's egg that he fell into, and it bathed in him through his skin or whatever. Now he's basically immortal for 1,000 years. So he's trying to die. He's picking fights with people. They can't kill him. He's basically unkillable for that 1,000 years. So it's kind of interesting, and all he wants to do is die like a warrior. He doesn't want to live for 1,000 years. So long story short, they quest, they find the demon, trials and tribulations happen. I won't tell you the ending. It's actually kind of an emotional ending in this one. It's really good, but I don't know, the series was a lot better than it had to be. And, they had basically John Buscema on the friggin' run forever and a day. And his art is just so good, man. I mean, it just fits. I'd show more of it here, but usually screws up my autofocus when I do. But basically, anyone who knows the series knows how great the art is. Covers are all stupendous. And, I don't know, I highly recommend this book. And a lot of the Conan run period, it was, like I said, it was a lot different than what Marvel was doing back then. And that's why I liked it so much. And I'm really surprised that it lasted as long as it did. It went through a lot of issues. for what probably may consider, a lower tier, product. I haven't read any of the new series. Some people were saying it was okay. Some people said it dropped off really badly after like the first issue. So it's hard to say. I don't buy new books anymore, so. But anyway, yeah, it's just such a good book, man. Conan's such a great character, and he hasn't been done complete justice in the movies yet. The original Conans were decent enough, at least the first one was. The remake in 2010-11 was, it had its moments, but mostly it was kind of bad. And I was actually kind of happy that Netflix decided to cancel the new series or whatever it was, because I don't believe Conan's a series that can be made anymore. It's just, not to put too fine a point on it, but things are just too PC right now, and it's not the kind of character, it's not the kind of environment that Conan thrives in, right? He's basically the anti-PC guy. So to write him true to character, I don't think it can be written. So I was kind of glad they pulled the plug on it, because Lord knows he doesn't need to be bastardized any worse than he already has been, and toned down. So anyway, I won't keep this going too long, but just highly recommended book, Conan number 170. But basically, almost any Conan in this series, they're all good. One second. All right, another really highly recommended one is actually Savage Sword Conan number 101, giant size. This thing is huge. Cover art's amazing. I love the interior art. It's all black and white, man. It really harkens back to how things would have been back in the time of actual release of Conan. Just great books. So anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap things up now. Make sure you go out and check out everyone's favorite Cimmerian. First chance you get if you need a good read. These are, like I said, these are so good because there's not any huge storylines going on here for the most part. It's just one and done. This reminds me a lot of Detective Comics and what made Detective Comics so good, especially back in the 5 through 600 run. Just a lot of one and dones and shorts, or like 2-parters or 3-parters at max. No world ending. Well, a lot of actually Conan stuff could be world ending, I guess, if you get down to it. But big, Galactic Storm kind of things, or Acts of Vengeance kind of things, and story arcs. It's just, good one and dones and strong story, followed up with a great character who kept pretty true to its source material. So anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more comic nostalgia reviews in the near future. And also stay tuned for my new motovlogging segment, which should be coming around before you know it. Alright, well once again, this is Genome, loving that great Cimmerian of the North.